dietary fibre, it actually is about calories. So calories definitely do matter. So think of this, right? In simple terms, calories are basically a unit of energy. All right, so just think of them as a unit of energy. They're either stored or destroyed. Makes sense? So you're kind of thinking of, and I know what's going through even people's minds now when they're listening to this. I just know from working in the industry for so long and studying for so long that you're probably thinking like, yeah, but there's good and bad calories, there's this and that. Look, a calorie, it really is. Like it's really that, and the way you need to do this is right. So just think of it, right? You have basically I have a book that wrote on this. You're more than welcome to read it. It just breaks down all the basics of calories. Drop me a comment or drop me a message. I'll just give it to you so you understand. But think of it like your body basically needs calories at rest, alright? And that's called your rest and metabolism. So I'm just going to tell you how to calculate this today, for example. Remember, you're going to have loads of miscalculations regardless of what scale you use. Whether you go into the university here where I went, done a master's degree, and we go in and do DEXA scans, the best scans you can do, the best metabolic testing that you can do in sports. So you're probably just seeing Spain won the World Cup, but like I'm telling you, like it's a high level of sport here. So have all the best tests, the best strength and conditioning tests, the best every test, and even that would have mixed calculations, meaning it's not 100% accurate. But we can have, as long as we collect our own data together, we can build consistency with me and you. But if a person's not tracking data or sending data, it's quite difficult for a coach. It's quite difficult for anybody, even someone that actually really knows. It's quite difficult. So you couldn't really go ahead with scientific studies if you hadn't got all that check. Makes sense? You can't. So to go back to the calories, so think of it, we understand what we're burning at rest, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're burning 1,500 calories at rest, but it might be even 1,700, whatever. There's something like there's mixed calculations in rest and metabolic rate and basal metabolic rate. I think the reason that we see rest and metabolic rate needs to be done in labs and people staying overnight. So BMR is a more simple test, but the two of them are the same thing. So they can be on average in miscalculations of a couple of hundred calories, depending on the individual and depending on how a test gets done. So let's even say you're 1,800, right? Because that 300 calories of what I'm about to speak about doesn't even matter too much. Here's why. So all of a sudden, we know that we're burning that at rest. We want to know how much food you're eating every single day, and the truth, not what you ate in the last 3 days. Like what have you been eating over the last couple of weeks? What have you been eating? Because like fat loss kind of happens every 10 to 14 days, every 14 to 28 days. It's kind of happening over weeks and months, and not just what an individual does in their day. Make sense? So stay on that for a minute. So all of a sudden we know like how much energy we're expanding from, say, step count every single day, or even fidgeting, moving around on average, right? Because the other thing about non-exercise activity metabolism, a lot of the training I see people doing, and that we're probably doing ourselves, is quite adaptive training. And what I mean by that is it's probably not intense enough to be able to be giving us what's the other component, that's exercise activity metabolism. And what I mean is a lot of people, and this is including myself, not actually coming from a judgmental place I hope, but will just seeing it in me practice, they're probably doing cardiovascular work at 90 beats heart rate per minute and still thinking that they're expanding energy from that, and when we should be actually probably in a range of a heart rate range for our cardiovascular work. Make sense? We should be in a heart rate range for our weight training workouts and doing this consistently so we can get the benefits of energy expenditure. Make sense? So we're knowing that how much energy we're actually expanding, because outside of the rest of metabolism, the 1,700-1,800 calories, how much energy are we actually using outside of that? It's because that will give us then a total daily energy expenditure. So let's say your energy expenditure is 2,500, or mine is. So stay on the 2500. Again, this is just a number and an example, all right? I'm just telling you how it works. So calories matter for that measurement. Makes sense. So that's the calories that we're using to maintain our body weight. So we stay stable now on that body weight. Makes sense. That's our total daily energy expenditure. So a lot of you see a lot of things like hormones getting thrown around. You see different stuff getting thrown around. So if I'm looking at the relative energy deficiency syndrome literature, which is RED-S, which is when your energy goes up, are we generating enough ATP, which is the energy currency for muscle contraction, to meet them demands of physical activity? That's where calories matter, because the recommendation for females is 45 calories per kilogram of lean body mass, right? So you kind of understand it's calories are the recommendation by experts to keep a person healthy. Makes sense? So I hope this doesn't get too hot. So basically, if you look into that, so we understand that, and then you're probably saying, where's this gone? So stay under 2,500 calories, right? So a pound of fat is, say, about 3,500 calories. It might be a little bit more, right? Because it's not an exact accurate, right? So when you lose a pound, you're not going to lose a full pound of fat. You're really not. And I know people will tell you, yeah, you are. You're not. It's very difficult. If you could lose even 90% fat, depending on your calculation, or even 80% fat, because you're going to lose muscle tissue, water. And if you look into even the studies on retatrutide, tirzepatide, I can't pronounce all these names, semaglutide, the GLPs and the GIPs and stuff like that, you kind of realise that although even retatrutide has a high amount of weight loss, a lot of it comes from muscle tissue, bone mineral density. That's because the speed at which that's probably losing weight. Makes sense? So I'm not going on to GLP. This is not about GLPs or anything like that. This is just giving you an example of how weight gets lost. So all of a sudden, if you don't have resistance training, high protein inside of them calories, there's a high chance you'll lose a lot of muscle tissue from that weight. This is where protein matters. Makes sense? Inside of the calories. Get me? And dietary fat in small amounts matters for, say, the absorption of vitamins A, D, E and K. Carbohydrates will help maintain performance or keep performance going in the gym to be able to maintain muscle. Think of that, just to simplify it for you, because you can maintain muscle from progressive weight training programs. Because when you go into an energy deficit, you lose muscle the creation of new proteins goes down. No matter what we say about it, guys, no matter whether we heard something on a reel or we heard something, this just happens from experts, Stuart Phillips and all these people that actually have spent years studying protein metabolism and done all the studies, right? You actually lose protein from your muscle tissue, all right? So how does calories, let's stay on calories, so you understand that. So why calories for, say, fat loss? So we go back to the 2,500 calories. So we get you on 2,500 calories. This is the calculation. We get so this is why I think having a meal plan and a meal structure helps, because there is myths around calories, and that is that like different foods that we eat are more satiating than other foods. I'll give you an example. If we look into satiety, like I see a lot of people in the keep thinking like, oh, eat more and more protein for satiety and stuff like that. If you look into the satiety index in scientific literature, and that's how full we are from a food or a meal. If we look into boiled potatoes, they're on the highest, right? White potatoes, sweet potatoes, lentils, apples, oranges, all these kind of foods, watermelons, popcorn. These are all low calories, and they're also keep us very, very full for a long duration of time. So when we go into an energy deficit to lose weight, number one is, are we actually in an energy deficit? That's the question. And I hear it a lot. This is what you see. Yeah, I'm in an energy deficit. Like Monday to Thursday, I had high protein. We had eggs in the morning. We had toast, and then on for lunches, Well, one day I went out with the colleagues out working. I had salad. In the restaurant, and I had one piece of cake, just one piece of cake. And then in the evening, I forgot to eat on Monday, and then on Tuesday we had a Mexican, but the Mexican was homemade. We homemade the Mexican, and on Wednesday we done this, and then look, you're not in a deficit. Like, do you know what I'm on about? A deficit would look like something of like, I had a consistent breakfast. So like, I'll give you an example. Let's say we look at a pound of fat is 3,500 to 4,000 calories. It just is what it is, right? Of lipids off your body, we need to take that energy away. That's how we, like, that's, if you ever heard of things like lipolysis, which is the burning of fat through beta oxidation, and then you hear of lipogenesis, which is the storage of fat, all right? So if we're above the 2,500 calories, for example, and we're on our average over a week or 2 weeks is 3,000 calories, 3,500 calories every day, and not even noticing it from the night out, the weekends, whatever else we're doing, the miscalculations of all the picks throughout the week, the hand dips into the nachos, the ice creams that we're eating on the side, you know, everything that we do on our own. Like, just let's say I was your shadow for a week, and I was able, I'm just giving you an example, and I was able to look at you. Would you say you're consistent if someone was watching you every day? Be honest. So that's where we need to ask ourselves with a little bit of what's called radical honesty, and being honest with ourselves, all right? And start with honesty. So think of it, right? So we take away the calories, right? We have to say, so if we are eating 3,000, well, we go through lipogenesis. Lipogenesis is the storage of fats. It's the excess amount of energy we take in goes to fat. And I know we're gonna, yeah, but I'll burn it off in the gym. It doesn't work like that. You don't just go in and burn off stuff in the gym, because you could be burning off muscle tissue. You could be burning off anything else. You can create too much fatigue. You could get sick. You could get injured, you know? You could just start training without no focus or specific what you're looking to achieve from training. Makes sense? So, but we're not going into training or anything like that. I'm just telling you the pros and cons and what calories are. So, imagine this. Let's say we took you a 3,500 calorie deficit over a week. We took that and said, so if we eat 2,000 calories from the 2,500, we will lose a pound this week, or probably even more, because excuse me, in the first 2 weeks of a diet, a lot of us lose gut residue off our gut. We lose a lot of like carbohydrates out of the body. So there's always a big loss when you go straight into a deficit. There's a big jump. Did that ever happen to you? And then it goes like into the pound a week with consistency. And you're probably saying, a pound a week? I don't want a pound a week. I want 10 pounds. See, you're getting sold the wrong stuff, my friends. There's like, think of it. I'll tell you how you can do £2 and £3 right now. Don't worry, I'm gonna go into that. No problem. So it's not extra training either. It's none of that. Right? So all of a sudden, we get that, and then we start losing weight consistently. You're gonna maintain muscle tissue, losing at that rate. You're probably gonna increase performance. You're probably not gonna be hungry. You're going to be satiety. Like 2,000 calories is a good number to be on to lose weight. You'll be able to have like popcorn, you'll be able to have like some of your favorite foods, but having that in a meal plan. But every time you're on that 2,000 calories and you decide to eat out or overeat, that will show up on the scales or the measurement. So don't blame the scales, don't blame wherever else. Take full responsibility and accountability, because this is what it was. Because if there was anything wrong with your thyroid, you wouldn't be training. Makes sense? Did you ever see someone that be training and they say, oh, it's me hormones or stuff like that? Or, well, most hormones correlate with the thyroids. So most hormones correlate with different kinds of stuff that would probably affect training. Makes sense? That would probably be a lot more dangerous for you to be even able to exercise. When we lose weight, when we do weight training programs, when we eat protein consistently, we improve hormones. But I'm not a hormone specialist. Even though I have 2 master's degrees, that we done lots of them on hormones, and I've studied hormones. I'm still not a hormone specialist, so I don't want to speak outside the scope of practice. But what I will do is, if I've studied cortisol, I'm in the process of writing a book on cortisol, but I've looked into all the studies on cortisol, I've looked into studies on testosterone, I understand them, I understand insulin, I understand peptides, I understand fat loss hormones, I understand all them kind of hormones, but it doesn't make me an expert on them, and I don't want to speak about them. But let's stay on the task. So all of a sudden, you're consistent, you're losing that. This is how I've got like 47, 50 pounds off people over a year, and they keep her off and they don't even really have to diet. So let's say you said to yourself, Ray, I want to go a little bit faster. There's loads of studies by Bill Campbell. Bill Campbell's one of the greatest fat loss experts in the world. Give him credit out of the ISSN and the International Society of Sports Nutrition, which I'm qualified in too. But the thing is that the ISSN was out years ago. It's still quite very, very popular now, and they're all experts. But you can let's say you want to lose 2 pound or 2 pound, then you'd go probably 1,000 calorie deficit. So we'd start out and we'd bring you down to probably 1,500. Makes sense? But can you sustain that? Can you maintain hunger on that? Are you able to not impact your sleep or impact other psychological or physiological stuff? And if it's able to do that, why not? But at the end of the day, we still have to have the same principles. You probably would lose 2 pounds of weight. You'd be able to get 8 to 10 pounds of fat off you in a month. But maintaining that, and then knowing that you need that when you get that weight off, you don't go back to 2,500 calories because you'll regain all the weight. But we need to understand, what is your new maintenance? Is it 1,900, 2,000 to maintain the weight? You can't just lose the weight and decide one day to go to an all-you-can-eat buffet or take a holiday off, because you will regain all that weight. There's a high possibility, and it will come on fast, and it's not water. It's really not. I'm just telling you the truth. It's a regain and body fat re-overshooting. So let's say you said, I want to lose 3 pounds in the first 2 weeks. I'm not saying you go down to 1,000 calories, but if we put you down to 1,200, you'd be able to do that safety. You'd be able to do that for a short duration of time and just getting it done, but also maintaining it. So calories do matter for fat loss and weight loss. Do we understand this by even what I'm speaking about? Like, it actually does. But what happens is then every 10 to 14 days, we're adapting through what's called a metabolic adaptation, the adaptation of your metabolism. 10 to 14 days, we become a little bit more conservative, meaning we won't lose the same amount of weight. So let's say we are losing that 2 to 3 pounds, no matter the calories, that is going to get slower. So the further 14 days and 14 days and weeks after that, it may not go as fast as we want it. We start to plateau. Get me? This is where plateaus come in. And just hopefully you can still see me with the sunglasses. It's getting hot here. We've had crazy fires and all here. It's so difficult at the moment, but I just need to stay consistent on these videos. So the thing is that, right, you're going down, and then here's what you do. You say to yourself, right, so what do I do, Ray? Do I remove more food? I can't remove any more food. And I'm like, yeah, no, because you'll probably end up overeating everything because hunger is going to be very high. This is where GLPs will work, because they're blunting hunger and it's easier to diet. Makes sense? That's where the GLPs will really, really work. Because hunger gets really hard in a deficit. And a couple of things before I move on, like, you can't just take the weekends off when you feel like it, when you make that decision. You can do whatever you want, like, that's one thing, but you will see that show up in your results. Like, it just is. And I've never seen it not. So this is why I remember giving a girl, she got shredded, right? And she's probably even watching this video. You want to see the transformation she's done? She went on it 1,300 calories and she done a meal plan, and the meal plan was she had protein with blueberries in the morning. It was about 300 calories. So you have antioxidants on the blueberries, low calories, high volume, 2 scoops of vegan based protein, a salad for lunch with loads of different greens and stuff like that, like lots of calories, with tuna steak, and the tuna steak 200 calories, keeps you full. And then in the evening had sweet potato, fish and a bit of dark chocolate. unbelievable. She's just done that for 12 to 16 weeks, 3 days of weight training. I have the transformation. You're welcome to look at it. It's on my Facebook, anyhow. And I remember when we got to the really low body fat, this is what the next stage is, what I'm going to tell you now. Because this girl only had three days of weight training and 2 days of cardio, which was running, we were able to add more and more cardio. Makes sense? When we hit the plateau though, not right away, loads of exercise. We then increased the deficit through energy expenditure. I've done this with MMA athletes. I've done it with loads of people. I've done it in my own fitness modeling preps. I've done it even helping people with them years ago when social media wasn't so high at the moment. But you just need to know how to increase the deficit. But it's about starting with the absolute truth in mind. You get me? Like knowing what the actual truth, how to set yourself up for success and consistency over time. And sometimes you don't even have to add that extra energy expenditure. A lot of the times when someone's consistent, it's patience, consistency done over time. If this gave you any help, let us know if I can help you. Any questions that you have, this is a part 1. I'm going to do a part 2 and a part 3. Hopefully you tune in for it and drop a comment what you feel about it. Drop me a message if you want a copy of that book, or drop me anything for any questions you have. Thanks a lot for following.